Hello, you guys. I'm going to turn a light on to get some light in here. But happy Tuesday. Yay. We are here together. 1 second. I don't know how to turn the light on. This will have to do. Why am I on YouTube? Because I do a weekly series on YouTube called Untangled. Hello, everybody. This is episode 37 of Untangled. Really happy to be here with you guys. Johnny Juicer is the friend of mine that jumped on YouTube or jumped on Instagram. He's pretty cool. He's got a great account. He's an amazing man. Highly recommend following Johnny Juicer. The light's fine. Okay, great. Can you guys hear me? Because I don't have my setup because I am in Big Bear, California. Hi, Mike from the Netherlands. It's really good to see you guys here. Hello. Where is everybody from? Say hello to you. So last week, I was not able to do my live YouTube on episode 37. I could not do last week on Untangled because I was in my car doing some work, and my car battery died. So I couldn't get home. Hi, Nova Scotia, Alberta, Canada, Portland, Oregon, Jacksonville, Mount Shasta, New York, Michigan, Switzerland, Netherlands, Copenhagen, Athens, Greece. I love it. Belgium, Switzerland, Denmark, Sweden. I'm coming to Sweden. All right, you guys, let's start episode 37. So Untangled is a series that I do where basically the intention behind this series is to bring to make the uncomfortable comfortable, to talk about the evolution in human consciousness, and to break it down in very simple, digestible human ways. So we are not bypassing anything. We're not trying to even do anything or get anywhere. We are simply just showing up for life and letting life serve us as we continue to watch the external world and the internal world evolve, which is what we're doing, right? We are going through a massive physical evolution in consciousness, which is energy. And there is an external shift, right? So you're going to see, and we are seeing all the systems around us collapse. We are watching all of what has been hidden come to light, and we are doing the same internally. So we are watching our own internal shadows, what has been hidden, what has been behind the scenes within our own beingness come to light, right? So there is a lot going on. It is very loud, and it's getting louder, right? And one of the things that I have been noticing within my own being is, and what I have been focusing more and more on in the last probably 6 months, is not so much what's happening in the external world, because I've been focused more on my internal world and mastering my internal world. And the reason that I have chosen that direction to go in and to really dive deep into what's going on with me personally, what shadows coming up, what programs, what awarenesses I have, what awarenesses I don't have, what am I attaching to, what am I not attaching to, where are my deepest traumas that are arising, what am I grabbing, right? All these things that we do. What am I still? Do I still have victim mentality? I don't know. You name it, right? Daily, I am exploring this. Daily, I am navigating this, because I truly believe that the way that we get through this massive evolution in consciousness, which is going to take a very long time, the way that we find heaven on earth right now is inside ourselves, not out there. That's not to say that it's not important. Like I've said so many times, right? It is very important to look at what's going on in the world. It's very important to recognize, all of the ways in which we have been lied to and manipulated and coerced, and all the ways in which control and greed run the planet. Super important. Not going anywhere. Will continue to show up. But the true master is the one that knows how to stand in all of it, right? And not get wobbly, to be able to take on what is going to continue to unravel out there. We have to become these really powerful warriors and warrioresses. What's a female version for warrior? What's the female version of warrior? We have to be able to do that. If we are simply solely focused on this external unraveling, the chaos, the corruption, the all these things that are happening out there. Well, this is happening, and it's not really an earthquake. We've created the earthquakes, and that's all great. But if you're solely focused on that, you're not going to be able to. You're going to continue to be controlled, manipulated, and enslaved by that world. You will be imprisoned, no matter how much you know. Okay, no matter how aware you are of what's going on out there. If you have not mastered your internal world, you will continue to be a slave to that external world. You will continue to be imprisoned. And what does that mean? It means that your state of being is going to be impacted by what's happening in the external world. Think about that for a moment. What is your state of being? What does that mean, your state of being? The way in which you are being in every moment. Okay, so if you go out in the world, or you turn on your phone or your computer and you hear these things happening, how does it make you feel? How are you responding, or are you reacting? Are you angry? Does it depress you? What is it doing to you? Right? Being aware of that. Are you fighting against it so bad? Is it taking over your entire day? Do you have so much fear because you're trying to figure out how to prepare for things, right? Are you getting into arguments with people around you because they don't see it the way you do? What's happening with you and the external world? And how is your state of being? Right? This is extremely important. This also has to do with how your external world is showing up in terms of relationships, in terms of jobs, in terms of money, right? Are these things externally? It's not just the corruption. It's everything externally that impacts your state of being, which is, does it pull you into fear? Does it pull you into victimhood? Does it pull you into lack? Does it pull you into resistance? Does it pull you into control? Does it pull you out of flow, out of alignment? Are you fighting life, right? There is nothing wrong with any of this, but we want to pay attention to this, because what is being asked by us, for us right now on this entire planet, is to continue to watch what is happening outside of you, but to always, first and foremost, go inward. Truly go inward. And number one, start to become the observer of how you're reacting and responding to all of life. Because if you can and we are all being trained to be able to watch massive chaos unravel, whether it is with these large systems in the government or in your own little world, where you lose everything, you lose your job, you lose your finances, I don't know, whatever may happen, whatever may unfold in this world. What if we're going down a world where we are going to be controlled by some credit system, right? And they're going to have all the information they need on us, and we're not going to be able to do anything without these little chips or whatever. What if that happens? Okay. How are you going to be in that? So right here, right now, you are training, you are in training. You're in training. And the way that you train is, how am I showing up right here, right now, with what is arising within me and what is popping up in my external world? How am I experiencing myself going to work at a job that I hate? How am I experiencing and responding or reacting in relationships that are blowing up in my face, or relationships that are being pulled from me, or relationships that are just starting, or friendships in my life, ways in which you respond and react to your family members? How are you reacting and responding to yourself? How are you speaking to yourself? How are you judging yourself? What are you resisting? What are you trying to control? Because we should all be able to stand in all of this and be free in our minds. Free in our minds, which means that whatever is happening, it does not pull us out of an aligned state of peace, of calm, of presence. That is truly what we are learning right now. How can you stand in all of this chaos and be in a state of peace? It's very difficult. It's very challenging. It is what you are being trained for right now. And the fastest way through is not to focus on the external world, although that is important. I hate my job. I want a new job. I want more money. I want to get out of these systems that I'm in, blah, 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 whatever it may be. There's corruption here. They're doing this to us. The dark is doing this, the dark, whatever the fuck we're thinking and looking at, right? That's all happening. But that's not what's going to create the inner peace, the calm, the presence, the flow. What's going to create the ability to be a superhero through all of this is to continue to redirect your awareness back in. To redirect your awareness back into, how am I showing up? How am I showing up today, right now? How am I showing up, meaning how do I feel? How am I responding to people or reacting to people? And what am I attached to? And here's the key, you guys. You don't judge it. Training for what? You're training for the ability to be in this physical evolution. So I want you to imagine that we're all on a battlefield, okay? And this battlefield is Earth. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just the analogy that I love to use. Okay. And what's happening is we are on a planet that is going through a physical evolution, which means a energetic shift, but it's a physical shift. And what that means is that you are going to physically see shifts, which means changes. You're going to see systems like the governments and the medical systems and the financial systems break down. You're going to see the entertainment system, the entertainment industry break down. You're going to see these things start shifting, right? And what that means is that there is an energetic shift that is happening on the planet on a global scale that is pulling humanity out of old systems that we have been in for a very long time. And we are learning how, or remembering how, to step into or be in new systems or in new ways of being on the planet as a collective. And so what we're training for is to learn or remember how to be in these shifts, how to stand on a planetary body that is shifting frequency. You have no control over that. That is what's happening. And so a shift in frequency means a shift in awareness, a shift in your lens, a shift in how you are being, a shift in what you are being in, right? In 2020, 2021, 2022, those were 3 years that that kind of catapulted us, really shook us into a little bit more of an awakened state. Right? We've been sleeping. We've been numb, a lot of us. It's like, wake up. The whole planet shook and rattled us into a tiny bit of awareness, some of us a large awareness. And so we're starting to see physically what is shifting. And that's what we're training for. You're also seeing it in your own life. There are physical things in your life that are shifting and that will continue to shift. People coming in and out in new ways, in faster ways. Right? Your life is speeding up even though it's slowing down. And what that means is that there are things happening faster and faster and faster. And yet you feel as if you are slowing down, perhaps, right? Things are in a pause maybe, or life is just slower. That's you moving into higher states of consciousness, believe it or not. And the physical world changing because of that. Change is inevitable. Change is the only thing that's going to be consistent over and over and over again. There is going to be change and then change and then change. There's change every single day. Your emotions are changing every minute of every hour of every day. Your thoughts are changing every minute of every hour of every day. Everything is changing. Nothing's designed to stay the same. So this evolution in consciousness is all about change over and over and over again. And it's an energetic change. It's an energetic shift that is going to present itself physically. And it's going to get really chaotic. It's going to get really crazy and holy fuck, because we have been, as a human collective, standing on a planetary body that has been in a lot of shadow. Shadow meaning that which has not been seen in order to be experienced. So it's been unconscious. We have been living on a planet in very unconscious ways, which means that we have been in programmed states of being. So we don't critically think in the same way, right? So we are born into systems that tell us what to think, tell us what to feel, tell us who we are, right? Tell us how to be, tell us how to succeed, tells us the rules of how this whole thing works, right? And there are gifts in that, right? It helps us navigate this world. Yes, it makes sense. You do this, and then you do this, and you do this. But what is underlying these mechanisms of control and programming is that you are pulled out of your true state of being. You're pulled out of wholeness. You experience all kinds of trauma, and the trauma comes from humans that were traumatized, that comes from humans that were traumatized, and all of this is the shadow of the human collective, right? We are not born into a world that like amplifies our wholeness, amplifies our uniqueness. You know, we are born into a world of control, manipulation, greed, mind control. That's the planet. You can't not be in that. That is what you are in. And that is what is going to be continued to be shown to us. And then what happens, because you're on that planetary body that is holding that shadow that we are standing in, which is a frequency. These shadows are just frequencies of light that are unconscious, which means that you don't even realize you're in it. Okay? Now think about your own state of being, your own body. It too has shadow, which is just frequencies of light that you are unconscious to. Deep, deep trauma, deep programmed states of being. Perhaps you find yourself continuing to do the same things in relationships, right? So what is coming to the surface is a programmed state of being. When somebody leaves the relationship, you grab, you chase after, you run. You know, there's a fear of being abandoned. There's a fear of being left. There's a fear of not feeling safe in the world. Okay, those are all programmed states of being. That is not your natural state of being. We are not naturally designed to feel unsafe in this world. That's an illusion. That is created. Our natural state of being is to know that we are free and safe to be in this body and to feel and experience everything, because we are no longer attached to what we experience. We are learning how to detach from the idea or the belief that we are what we are experiencing. If someone leaves me, that means I'm not a good person. If someone leaves me, that means I'm not lovable. If I get fired from my job, that means that I didn't do a good enough job. I'm not going to be able to find another job. I'm not worthy, right? These are all attachments. They're all part of the human experience. If I don't respond to these people in the way that I'm supposed to, then it means that I'm not a nice person, that I'm selfish, that I only think about myself. That is a programmed state of being that the world has told you to believe, beliefs that have been thrown onto you, okay? And you take those as who you are. You're none of that. You're none of that. None of it. And at the same time, it's how the world works. So we are learning how to break out of that. We're learning how to become the masters. We are in training. How do I continue to watch myself play out the same patterns? Perhaps. How do I observe it? Watching myself, right? How do I allow myself to feel it? How do I stop judging myself, which simply means that I am allowing it all to be okay? How do I allow it all to be okay? Think about everything in your life that you are not allowing to be okay. Even the external world. Even the external world, we don't allow to be okay. Everything that is unraveling is designed to do this. It's designed to get very chaotic. We are designed to see that the weather is manipulated. We are designed to see that there is a mass genocide happening. We are designed to see that the government is corrupt. We are designed to see that doctors have been manipulated and there's massive mind control happening. We are designed to see that humans are literally driven by greed and money. We're designed to see all of that. We're designed to see that we have a lot of fear of being alone, perhaps. We're designed to see that we are feeling unworthy, that we don't believe that we deserve unconditional love. We are designed to see that we live in lack. We are designed to see that we stay in unhealthy relationships because we have these attachment styles that make us believe that we are not whole. We have to see all of these fragmented aspects of the external world and the internal world in order to come back into wholeness. There's no other way to do it. You can't bypass the shit show that we're in. You can't bypass the fragmented aspects. You can't bypass the shadow. You can't bypass the unconscious. You have to bring the unconscious to light. You have to bring the shadow to light, which means that you have to see everything. So everything that is being shown to you outside in the world and inside, all of the ways that you continue to, beat yourself up, beat other people up, hate your job all day long, every day, that is gifting you with some sort of realization in order to be free in the job you hate, in order to be free in the lack that you're feeling, in order to be free in the victimhood that you may be experiencing. The moment you bring an awareness to what it is that you are experiencing is the moment you detach from it and you start to be free from it. And then all of a sudden it grabs you again. And then an example of it, I've talked about this a lot, but it's a really beautiful example for me personally, is being audited by the IRS, right? This is a very annoying process. This woman has been coming back multiple times, okay? And what the practice for me is, do I believe the IRS is corrupt? 100%. Am I seeing it with my own eyes? 100%. When I get an email that says, please provide, examples of why your office looks the way it looks, right? That creates inside of me anger, frustration, rage. Do I feel that? 100%. You are not here to ignore what is unraveling. I'm going to just stay positive. If you try to pull yourself out of whatever it is that you are truly feeling, you are missing the entire point of this evolution, of this shift, of moving through your entire human journey. You're not here to try to control how you want things to go. I want to stay positive. I want to only feel good. You live in a quantum field. Everything is available at every now moment. And whatever is arising is simply just arising to be felt. That is it. And if you aren't it, you just allow it to be felt. Oh, look, I got an email from my accountant. I want to scream. Okay, so be it. The key here is, am I going to let the IRS control my mind? Am I going to let them have my mind? Which means when I get done with the email, am I going to shut my computer down, walk away, and have them still in my mind creating that anger and rage? Am I going to carry that anger and rage throughout the rest of my evening? when I wake up in the morning, when I go to work. That is freedom. So I'm choosing to not let them have my mind. They can have my money. They can have the corruption. They can have whatever the freak they're going to do, but they will not have my mind. And what that means is they won't have my state of being. They will not have, they cannot control my state of being. They cannot take my peace. I will not give them my peace. And that is a choice. And that's what we are learning. We are not learning to numb ourselves from what's happening. You have to feel everything. That's how you become free. But it is a choice if you allow somebody else, yourself, or these systems out there to have your state of being, to control your mind, to control how you're going to feel. Nobody can do that. Nobody can give your peace away but you. No one. And so it's a constant awareness of, am I letting this person or am I letting this experience steal my peace? Yes, I am. Beautiful. The key to all of this, you guys, is to stop making anything that you're in and anything that you're experiencing wrong. Stop making what you're feeling wrong. Stop making what you're thinking wrong. In fact, amplify it. Get even more curious with it, because none of it is you. The anger and the rage that I feel is not me, right? The peace is not me. The joy is not me. The love is the only thing that is our truest expression, is absolute love, which is a vibration, a pulse, a tone, source, God. That is who we are in its fullest expression, which is wholeness, which is safety, which is free. Everything else that we experience, positivity, whatever it is that you think that you should be feeling or being in, is simply just an energy that you're experiencing on this planetary body in a quantum field as consciousness in a physical form. That's it. And the more that you try to bring yourself into states, bring yourself into healing, bring yourself into whatever it is, you're controlling the natural process of you coming back home to wholeness. Wholeness. Absolute aligned wholeness, where you are able to step out into the world and be completely free, watch it all, and be in a state of contentment and calm and peace while the world goes to shit, goes to hell in a handbasket, while you are participating, while you are choosing how you're going to be, while you are speaking your truth, is to allow everything to be experienced, which does not mean that you sit back on your couch and don't do anything. It means that you show up in the world with a wide open heart, understanding what you're in, that this is a massive evolutionary shift that feels very physical but is energetic, and that your truest state of being is to be able to be in all of it, allowing yourself to experience and feel all of it without pushing any of it aside, because you're none of it. And then beginning to become empowered by choosing how you're going to respond and who and what you're going to allow to take your peace. And the more that you can become aware of all of this, the easier this entire human journey is going to be. We forget that, we forget what we're in. Every day we forget, every hour we forget, because this life right now, 2023, February 14th, is going to rattle you. Thank you so much for the super chat, Taz. It's going to rattle you into the shadow. Thank God we're being rattled into the shadow. We're being pummeled into the shadow over and over and over, our own internal shadow. What are you still not seeing? What are you still attaching to, judging? I need this. I want this. I have to get here. It is very, very difficult. It's very difficult to just allow. It's to allow whatever it is to be felt and experienced. I'm not saying that you don't fight for what you want in the world, okay? You don't stand up, you don't speak your truth. You just do it from a very different energetic frequency, or you do it from a different state of being. Which is, if I know that I'm free no matter what. Thank you so much for this super chat, Margaret. If I know that I'm free no matter what, I'm free inside of here. No matter what happens, my state of being is my choice. If they chip me, if they put me in a prison, if they tell me where I can and cannot live, if they shut down the whatever. Thank you so much for this super chat, witchy kind of woman, tarot and totem readings. Thank you. If they, whatever happens, am I free in here? So how in your life are you not at peace with things and just get curious? What pulls you out? What makes you have fear? What moves? And this is okay. We all have it. All of us, this is what pulls. The more you can be vulnerable, authentic, and raw, the easier this will be. I'm talking just like, just being in who you are, being in what is. What are you experiencing? Stop pretending. We all pretend. We're programmed to. We pretend to have it all together. We put a smile on our face. We pretend that we're strong. We pretend that we are confident, right? We pretend that we are, when deep down inside, we're scared shitless. We're super insecure, perhaps. We're unworthy. We feel these things. We are not those things. We are feeling those things. And here's the fucked up thing, excuse my language, but the screwed up thing is, there is this program out there in the world, okay, that tells you that if you believe these things, then you are these things. If you tell yourself that, you're unworthy, then you're going to be unworthy. That's true if you're attaching to unworthiness. If I'm attaching to lack, oh my God, the IRS is going to take all my money and holy shit, holy shit. If I'm attaching to that lack mentality that the IRS wants. Thank you so much for the super chat, Daniel 1414. I love it. Thank you. If you're attaching to the lack, thank you, Steph, for this super chat. If you're attached to that lack, oh my God, they're going to take my money, which is very easy to do with the IRS. For the United States, for those of you that don't know the IRS in the United States. And the reason I'm talking about this is because this is what's going on in my life, right? But the IRS is a governmental system that we pay taxes to every year. But anyway, if I give lack to it, which is a huge part of the energy, right? Then essentially I am attaching to this idea that I am lack, right? That lack is a part of my reality. And then I have to change my thoughts. I am abundant, I'm abundant, I am abundant. Okay, which is fine, but I don't believe that, right? So there's this program in the world where it says, if you are telling yourself that you're unworthy or you're telling yourself you're unlovable, you got to change those thoughts because that's what you're going to create. And on one level, that is true. Okay, on one very basic, third dimensional, fundamental level, that is correct. If you're constantly telling yourself these things, then that's what's going to happen because you believe the thoughts. You're believing that you are what you're saying. What happens when you stop believing that you are what you're saying and instead you're just simply experiencing it and feeling it? You're just feeling unworthiness. You're not unworthiness. You're feeling unworthiness. So here's a big table that I'm sitting at. And all of a sudden there's an aspect that looks like Lori that pops up that says, you're unworthy. Thank you, Lynn, for the super chat. You're unworthy. You're super insecure. You don't deserve. That's just an aspect that pops up. That is not me. It's not true. It's not me. I am learning how to be in a state of wholeness while I watch all these fragmented aspects pop up at the dinner table and try to convince me that they want to take center stage for the sole purpose of being seen. They need to be seen. They need to be acknowledged. They need to be heard. If you live in that state of awareness, You will not need to change your thoughts. You will not believe that if you allow insecurity to pop in, that you need to change it. Because you recognize that insecurity is popping in only because insecurity is popping in. And your job is just to be curious of insecurity. And it feels uncomfortable and it may be super loud. But you're the observer. You're just simply watching the movie, feeling it. And it's the feeling state that makes you believe that you're in lack. It's the feeling state that makes you believe that you're unworthy. The more that you can pull yourself out of this attachment to you being what you're experiencing, the more you'll be able to just let whatever is arising to just be experienced and felt. And the more you will really want to let it all be. Because the more you can let everything just be, all the different aspects of you that come up all day long, jealousy, insecurity, unworthiness, abandonment, anxiety, stress, whatever's arising at the table, the more you can just let it have its voice and just get curious. You do not feel good. You are loud. You are obnoxious. Wonder how long you're going to be here. And you stay in a sense of presence with it. You won't change it. You won't try to fix it. Because eventually what happens is those voices, those aspects, they quiet. And the more that you can honor them and just be curious with them, you don't have to figure out the why. You don't have to dive in and attach to the why. Where'd this come from? What do I need to do with it? The fastest way through anything is by simply allowing it to be. And we are not designed, we are programmed to not do that. We're programmed to pull ourselves out. We're programmed to positive think. We're programmed to change our minds, change our thoughts, change our emotions. And unfortunately or fortunately, whether you believe this or not, the more that you are being told that you need to change everything that's arising, the more disempowered you will be. The more you stop trying to change anything, the more empowered you will be, because you will realize that nothing actually controls you and there is nothing to actually change. And you are here and designed to feel everything. Allow it all to simply be, and you will find true freedom. Most of what we are taught on this planet is a shadowy aspect of control. Anything that pulls you out of what you are simply just feeling is controlling you. It's okay. It's part of our evolution. It's part of waking up. It's part of becoming conscious. It's part of learning how to navigate this. It's part of it. So it's like, fuck this. I do not want to feel this. I am out of here. I'm going to change it. I'm going to numb it. I'm going to fix it. Okay. But can you be aware of that? Because even in the awareness of, I'm going to get out of this, I'm going to change this, I'm going to fix this, you are actually detaching from it slowly. And the less you will try to change or fix it. Now, people will say, well, how do I make change in my life if I'm not supposed to change anything? You're always taking action in life. You're not just sitting back and saying, oh, okay, I'm not going to take action. I'm not going to change anything in my life. Okay. You have a job that you don't like. Okay. Here's an example. You hate your job. All right. Every day you go to work, you hate it. You're miserable. You're stressed in your body. All right. So the practice for you is, how acutely aware of the emotions that you are feeling can you be aware of? Simply be aware of the stress in the body. Can you be aware that there is stress running through your body? Can you be aware of the fear you have of going to work because you have to do ... Can you be aware and feel the anger and rage that you're stuck in this? Can you be aware of the stuckness? Can you be aware of the resistance, the fight against? Can you feel it in your body? Can you be aware of these things? You start to become the observer. You're starting to become aware of what you're in instead of being in it, attaching to it. Because the more you attach to what you're experiencing, the more you're going to want to get out of it. The more uncomfortable it is, and the more that you are attaching to it and wanting to get out of it, the more you're going to be in it. So it's simply beginning to observe and be aware of what you are in, what you are feeling, being just the curious observer over and over and over again. I hate this. Yep, you hate this. I want out of this job. Of course you want out of this job. I don't know how to feel at peace. Of course you don't know how to feel at peace. I literally want to scream. Of course you want to scream. The more that you can do those baby steps, the more you will drop into peace and presence and calm. Then what you do, okay, once you're observing and once you're practicing this, which is very difficult, but you start practicing it. And this can be in relationships, this can be in financial situations, this can be in anything. But the more that you start doing this, the more that you open, there's an expansion that happens where you start asking yourselves, wait, what do I want? The more that you fight against what is, okay, the more difficult it's going to be to step into more of an open, expansive, relaxed state where you can start to create what you want. When we are in a state of manifestation from resistance, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I'm going to manifest something better, I'm going to manifest it. You are denying and resisting what you are in. You are ignoring the practice of what you are designed to practice. And you will find yourself most likely in another situation that is going to literally perpetuate what you just manifested yourself out of. So the key is not to manifest yourself out of what you don't want to be in. The key is to try practicing how to be in what you're in, finding some sort of sense of calm or peace or freedom within it, where you're not trying to get out of it. That's suffering. Suffering is not wanting to be in what you're in. And from that state of starting to allow and can I practice some small piece of okayness in this? Can I give myself compassion? Can I give myself permission? If you're in some sort of situation right now where you're going through, like my best friend is going through chemotherapy for the next 4 months for breast cancer. Can she give herself permission to feel everything she's feeling? And from that state, all of it, feel all of it, the rage that this isn't fair. Like, yes, keep going. What else are you feeling? Keep going. Don't deny what you're feeling. I shouldn't be feeling anger then. I shouldn't be. No, go in. Feel it even more. The more that you can allow yourself to simply be in the truest expression of what you're experiencing, the more you'll find freedom. And from that state, there's a relaxation that happens. Your shoulders relax. You stop resisting and fighting against what is. And then what happens is you can start to think to yourself, what do I want? I'd like another job. I'd like a job where I'm not so stressed. I'd like a job where, I'm with people that I like. I'd like a job where, maybe I feel like I'm creating something. There's a calmness to this, to the creation of what's next, not a fight against what is, trying to get out of what is, right? And doing your best to manifest something that will pull you out of the state of suffering that you're in. If you manifest from a state of suffering, which you are unconscious to, you're just going to perpetuate suffering, because inevitably you will find yourself in another situation where you don't want to be in it. We are designed to learn how to be in what we don't want to be in order to break free. We're designed to learn how to be in what we don't want to be in order to learn how to be free. And from that state of freedom, you create. And then you are detached from whatever your creation is that you want, and then it comes in. Then you let life gift you. Life is always trying to gift you what's next. But what we do is we control how we want things to be. We control what we want to feel. We control what we want, how we want it to look, how fast we need it to go, the type of job we want to come in, the type of person we want to come in. And life is saying to you, sorry, you're not in control here, you being the ego. The ego will stay in a state of control. I know best. I know how this is going to work. I know what success looks like. I know what the next project is. I know how to bring in the most amount of money. I know what my partner is going to look like and feel like and be like. I know what I want my next place to be that I'm living in. Control, control, control. It works. It's how people manifest, but you'll find yourself in another state of suffering. I promise you. You'll in the moment, you'll be like, oh my God, this is so great. And then boom, you're going to find yourself in another state of suffering. You're going to want to get out of what you're in. The key is to not want to get out of what you're in. The key is to surrender to what you are in, to learn how to do that. It's not easy. It sucks. That's how you find absolute true freedom. So what is life gifting us right now? What is life showing you? What direction is life pulling you in? And this doesn't mean that it's pulling you in a direction that feels that's like, oh my God, this is how I want it to go. You know, the direction that life may be pulling you in is you may be about to lose your job. Okay. And you're thinking, pretty sure this is not life gifting me. And I would say this is life opening you up to the gifts that are about to be revealed to you. And you're thinking, this feels like shit. I'm not going to have any money. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. And on one level, that may be correct in this physical plane of this physical third dimensional reality. That may be correct. And maybe life is gifting you something that you can't see. Miracles arise in the unseen. The miracles that are waiting for you arise in the unseen. You will not be able to manifest your miracles. You can manifest what you think is best for you, but that's your ego. So manifestation of like, I want a new job, I want a new partner, I want more freedom, I want more abundance, right? Holding that is beautiful. Just know that when you are doing that, life is going to gift you with what you need to see, feel, hear, be, and go through in order to step into that which you are manifesting from a state of openness, faith, surrender, freedom, peace. Stop trying to control everything. Right here, right now, whatever is arising, whatever you are going through, whatever is showing up is the gift. And if you are fighting against it, that's the gift. And fight against it if that's what you're going to do. Be aware, be the observer of, I'm fighting against this. This doesn't feel right. This isn't it. And just be aware of that. Right? There's a fine line between just laying back and being like, fuck it, I'm just going to let everything happen. And taking this surrendered action. What feels right to me? This job doesn't feel right. This partnership doesn't feel right. Fighting for somebody that doesn't want to fight with it, doesn't want to try to make it work, doesn't feel right. This is a pattern. This is a program. Right? People pleasing. It doesn't really feel right anymore, but it's continuing to show up. What is being gifted to you? Maybe letting people go in your life, but that doesn't feel good. But if you tap into what life is gifting you, which is these people leaving your life, perhaps this job leaving your life, whatever it is, if you tap into, oh my God, I'm really afraid. I really don't want this to happen. Right? That's the ego trying to stay in some sort of controlled state because it's afraid to feel whatever is going to be felt. But if you tap into what is life gifting me right now, what is the flow of this moment? The flow is perhaps going to be uncomfortable. The flow perhaps is going to be something that you don't necessarily want or that you didn't necessarily choose. And yet somehow that is the flow of what is arising. And then we fight against it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is not the way it's going to go. I am absolutely not going to surrender to this. I'm going to force and push and effort for something else. And life's like, okay, you can do whatever you want. You have free will. But what if the flow of life is saying that you've got to let this go, that you've got to move to this new place, or you've got to take this job you don't want to take, or you got to let this person go in your life that you don't want to? Because on one deep, deep level, that is flow. That is what is flowing next. And we try to control the flow of life, which is the gift of life, which is you moving into miracles, because we don't like what it's flowing us into, and we don't like how it feels. We don't trust life. We don't have faith in life, which is having faith in you or having faith in source or God or universe, whatever words you want to use. There is something so much bigger than the little you, which is the ego, that is constantly trying to stay in a controlled state, which is always going to keep you having a ceiling to what is possible, what is available, the miracles. And it requires you to fall. It requires you to get your heart broken. It requires you to feel pain. It requires you to scream. This is what is required in a flow state, which means that everything that arises is okay to arise and be felt. Oh, no, no, no. If I'm in a flow state, I shouldn't be feeling rage or anger then. Yes, anything is possible in a flow state, because the flow is the natural process of just simply moving with life. This is what's next. This sucks. The flow of life for me is that I got audited by the IRS. That's the flow of fucking life for me. So instead of fighting against it, not that I could anyways, right? But what is the choice that I have? The choice I have is that this is somehow some sort of miraculous gift that I'm going to see or not going to see. And in the meantime, I get to feel everything that I'm feeling along the way. And then I'm going to choose my state of being as much as I can, which means I'm going to choose how much energy I'm going to let it have on me. And I'm going to stay present. I'm going to trust. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to believe that something bigger is moving. There are no accidents. There are no mistakes. Do you believe that? Do you believe that there are no accidents and that there are no mistakes in your life? And if you don't believe that, why don't you believe it? Why don't you believe it? This is the year of miracles, which means that you have to step into a state of flow to receive the miracles. You have to let go. And letting go is, even in the letting go, you let go. You have to trust so deeply in what is unraveling. You have to pay attention to how you are responding to life. You have to remember, as hard as this is, that you are none of this. You're not the anger, the rage, the lack, the job, the relationship, the unworthiness, the codependency, the narcissism, the attachments. You're none of that. You are learning every second of every minute of every hour of every day how to detach from the idea, the illusion that you are any of what you are experiencing. And then how quickly you find yourself pulled back in. And so I just want to clarify before we go, you're always taking action, right? It's not like you just sit back and say, oh, well, whatever is, is. You're always choosing, but you're not changing. Okay. What does that mean? This is very, very important. It's a state of being that's so important. Whatever you are in, you don't change, you allow, you experience, you feel, you let in, you're standing in a big room. And whatever is in that room is just in the fucking room. Okay? You have family members you don't get along with. You have a job that you hate. You have a partner that you're starting to engage in and build relationship with, and you're feeling, scattered. You have a lot of bills. Whatever's in your room is in your room. Wow. Sit back and watch it all. Be in awe of it. Look at it, feel it, accept it, surrender to it. And then from the allowance of all of it, you start to say to yourself, okay, how do I want to be with my family members? Do I need more boundaries? Right? Do I need to stop hanging out with them all the time? Okay, my job. Wow. Okay, look at that. There's a different energy. There's a different energy when you start just saying, this is everything that's here. Wow, look at this big ass room full of God knows what. There's some beautiful things. My God, look at that beautiful friendship that I have. Look at my beautiful partnership, right? Even those you're detaching from and just watching. Everything becomes a show that you're watching that is part of your human experience that you are just in awe of. Some of them pull you deep into them. You are so attached and you're so scared and you're so controlling. Beautiful. Are you aware of that? Right? My family members, okay. I see it. I acknowledge it. I understand it. When I go and hang out with my parents, I understand this is what happens. I'm learning boundaries, blah, blah, blah. It's good. My job, it's fucking got me. My job, I am fear-based, stressed, controlling. Be vulnerable and raw with that. And then from these states of awareness, from these states of being, then you just start choosing how you're going to be in it. You start choosing, okay, there's the job I don't like. Got it. Wonder what I would like to do. Is there anything in me that has passion? But you're doing it from a state of freedom. You're doing it from a state of, okay, it just is what it is. I hate my job. Okay. Right? You're in a relationship that you know you're supposed to get out of because it doesn't feel right anymore and it's continuing to not feel right. And you're finding yourself in patterns that you're playing out that you know you're designed to stop playing in: codependency, attachment, fear of abandonment, whatever it is. So you are allowing that to be experienced. Then you choose, how do I want to be? How am I going to respond? Am I going to tap deeper into that inner child and let that inner child speak? Right? Am I going to open my heart even more? Am I going to choose to believe that life is showing me what I need to see and what I'm worthy of? Do I need to walk away? But you're doing it from this state of, there's like a surrendered action. Okay. Instead of, this sucks. How am I going to get out of this? Or I don't want this to end. I need to hold on to this. That is an attachment where you are grabbing so deeply what is just simply in the room being shown to you as your human experience. And this, you don't want to bypass and just be like, I am a soul and this just is. And, you know, you don't bypass the intensity of your human show. You do the opposite. You dive so deeply in it that it fucking almost destroys you. You want to get burned so deeply, so intensely, that you realize that you don't actually burn. You want your show, you want your life to break you down so intensely that you realize that there is nothing that can actually break you. And until you allow yourself to get burned, till you allow yourself to break, until you allow yourself to feel so deeply with a faith and a knowingness that you're going to be okay, with faith and a knowingness that you are not what you are experiencing, a faith and a knowingness that you are in a process of evolution and shifting, that you are unequivocally, without a doubt, being pulled into something so much greater that you can't see. You will fight against what is. You will fear life, and you will control life. Or you will bypass it and pretend that everything's okay. I'm going to pull myself into love and light. I'm going to be positive all the time. I'm going to hold myself in some positive vibration that New Earth belongs in, that New Earth is in. Meanwhile, you're standing in a room that is a shit show. And it is until you allow the shit show to just be in all of its authentic, raw expression, because you are not the shit show, that you find New Earth, whatever that is. You find heaven on earth. You find heaven on earth right in the midst of the shit show. That's where it is. Not by shutting the doors because you don't want to see it, because you call it negative, or you call it dark, or you call it low vibration. And then you somehow force yourself and in a controlled state into peace, into love. And that is absolute bullshit, bypassing and ignoring human evolution. It's ignoring what is. We're not here to ignore what is. And if you stop ignoring, I can promise you that you are going to be pummeled into so much intensity that you're going to burn. And then you're going to realize, while you think you're being burned, that you actually don't burn, that nothing destroys you, that nothing can get you. You can feel anything and you come out of it. Anything. And when you start doing that in your life, you're free. You're absolutely free. So everything that is showing up for you right now is freeing you. Let yourself burn to it. Let yourself be in it. Let yourself die in it. Let it be. Observe. You're not it. Everything externally and everything internally. And stop blaming, right, the external world for what is happening in your internal world. Stop thinking that if the external world changes, then you're going to change internally. As soon as the world wakes up, as soon as these things change, as soon as this gets fixed, I'll be okay. I'll be free. I'll be at peace. No. Freedom, peace, presence, calm happens right here, right now, in the midst of the most chaotic unraveling that you can possibly imagine. Find the peace now. Find the peace in the midst of everything you're going through, because you are safe to go through it all, and you get to have every emotion, temper tantrum, anger, judgment. You get all of it, because none of it's you. All of it. Okay, there we go. One last thing, you guys. So I am doing a 21-day intensive starting tomorrow, February 15th. It's 21 straight days where we sit together live on Zoom for 30 minutes. And if you can't join live, you get the replay. It's just as powerful. And what I'm going to be doing is teaching and being in this. How do you sit in life? How do you bring yourself back to you? How do you breathe through pain? How do you bring yourself into awareness? It's practices, daily practices that you and I will do for 21 days, 30 minutes a day. I'll be answering your questions. There's a private online forum as well. It's $59. We do have scholarships for those of you that can't afford it, so email me. The link is going to be down below in the description, but we start tomorrow. I've never done this, but because I have been practicing these things every day, and it has literally changed my life. I want to experience it with you guys. I want to bring you into the beingness of it, not just talk about it. These states of awareness, these shifts, this evolution that we're going through is so difficult to teach. It's you can conceptualize it, you can understand what I'm saying, okay? But how do you be in it throughout your day? That's the tough part. What are the little tips that you can hear throughout your day that assists you in being in and practicing what it is that you already know in your mind? That's what these 21 days are. I can promise you that it will change you. And so anyways, it starts tomorrow, February 15th. We go for 21 straight days, 30 minutes every day. Every day it is at 10 a.m. California time. And we'll most likely go over some of the classes, and it's recorded. You get the recordings forever. And I'll be doing Q&A throughout the 21 days, and there's a private online forum, $59 if you want to join. And if you are strapped for money for whatever reason, we have scholarships. Okay. Link is down below, or email us, contact@lorieladd.com. There you go, you guys. I love you. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for the super chats that you gave me. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you for being on the planet at this time. Thank you for courageously being all of you, whatever that is, with the attachments, with the fear, with the judgments, with the anger, with the stress, with the anxiety. Thank you for you just being you. You just allowing yourself to be what you're experiencing, and being in this, because there's no mistake that you're on the planet at this time in a physical form, navigating this massive evolutionary shift. So give yourself permission, give yourself more compassion. Please give yourself. Thank you so much, Court, for that beautiful super chat. Holy cow, thank you. More permission to be all of what you're in, to feel it all. More compassion for yourself and more compassion for humanity. I'll see you next Tuesday for Untangled, episode 38. And I love you very much. Mwah.